welcome to the channel. I'm Steve Hamlin. Today we're going to take a look at the water system in our compact camper van. We do a lot of dispersed camping and camping in Forest Service and BLM campgrounds where water availability is highly variable, and water is often what determines how long we can stay at a particular campsite. I've designed our system to be as flexible as possible to allow us to expand the capacity for those times when we need it without giving over too much space in our limited footprint for those times when we don't need it. So let's get started. So this is the heart of our plumbing system. A small marine sink with a marine grade faucet, and there's our pump switch and water level monitor, soap and hand sanitizer. Underneath is our very simple plumbing system. The sink drains directly into a 6-gallon jerry jug, which is our gray water tank, and behind that is an identical 6-gallon freshwater tank, which is currently set up for backup. It can be plumbed into the system so we can pull directly from that 6-gallon jerry jug if we choose to keep everything inside the van. The idea being that it's easier to keep it from freezing in cold weather than the 15-gallon bulk tank that's under the floor and has no insulation. Under the sink you can see a couple of things. One is a hose connector for our water port, which makes it much easier to fill the water port from city water, and there's a hospital type urinal under there, which makes it possible for me to use our Thetford portable toilet without making a mess of things. I can just use that and then pour that directly into the toilet. That was Linda's suggestion, and it turns out I was highly skeptical when she suggested it, but it turns out it's a brilliant suggestion. So behind the 6-gallon jerry jug in my wheel well box is the 12-volt pump. It's accessible by way of a removable panel so that I can drain it in preparation for winter to keep it from freezing. The gray water tank is fairly easy to service. I can disconnect the strap that secures it and the freshwater tank and pull it out, and my drain pipe is on this corrugated elbow, which makes it very flexible and easy to connect and disconnect, and then I can dump the gray water wherever seems most appropriate. Moving to the back of the van, I have 2 of these collapsible buckets, 5-gallon buckets, which are very handy. This one I keep clean for fresh water. This one has been used for gray water, especially dishwater. If we're in a campground that has a dishwashing sink, usually we'll wash the dishes here at the campsite, but I'll dump the dishwashing water into the 5-gallon collapsible jug and carry it to the dishwashing sink to dispose of it. And then we have 2 6-gallon jerry jugs for fresh water. This one being the one closest to the doors is the one that gets used the most. And this one is a backup, so we have a total of 18 gallons in jerry jugs plus 15 gallons in the bulk tank. These get used for a variety of purposes, but the main thing that I use them for is for dishwashing. We set up the galley outside the passenger side rear corner of the van, and this is handy to put water in our stock pot to heat it up to use for dishwashing. And then moving around to the side of the van, we've got two 5-gallon collapsible jugs that I use if I need them, if we're going to be doing a lot of dispersed camping. Those allow us to add to our capacity, and they're much easier to use to fill our 15-gallon tank through the port, the fill port on the side of the van directly. The same pump setup that I have for our shower can be used as a transfer pump, and that's what I use it for mostly, actually, to transfer water from the 6-gallon jerry jugs to our 15-gallon tank, which lives under the van right there. 15 gallons was the biggest tank I could find that would fit under our van. It's tucked in between the rocker panel and the muffler, and I wouldn't have minded having a bigger one, but 15 gallons is pretty good, especially if we have an easy way to keep it filled, and we do. This is our propane garage. For our outdoor galley, but it also has 12-volt power port, again for the water pump. So this is the heart of my transfer pump. It's the pump itself and a suction cup hook that I can mount to the side of the van. The pump is plugged into my power outlet in the propane garage, and it's pulling water through a stand pipe from a 6-gallon jerry jug and pumping it through a 3-foot long garden hose through my garden hose attachment in my my fill port. So I'm going to fire it up, and now it's priming, and now it's pumping water into the 15-gallon tank. The tank is fairly full, so it won't take very much. This jerry jug is a little more than half full. Probably won't even take all of that, but that's the system. And I can also use it to transfer water from one jerry jug to another. I have a pocket right here in my rear door that I created specifically to store my water pump, the floating one that's not part of the built-in system. So that's the way that I transfer water from jerry jugs into my 15-gallon tank to keep it charged. So how do I get water into my jerry jugs? If we're lucky, we have a dump station or something that has a garden hose attachment, or a water spigot in the campground that we can just attach my garden hose to. I've got a 4-foot garden hose here, as well as the 3-foot one that I used, so I can have my transfer pump set up and be getting water from the source at the same time, and be able to use a hose at the source to avoid as much spillage as possible. But oftentimes the spigot that's available in a campground doesn't have a garden hose thread, in which case this is a really handy device to have. This is a water Bandit, and these are readily available. I think this is a Camco product, and it attaches to the female end of your garden hose. Like so. And then this rubber sock sort of fits snugly over the unthreaded spigot, and I found, especially at a faucet that has really good water pressure, I have to kind of clamp the end of the sock with my hand in order to keep the water from spraying out the backside instead of going into my jerry jug. But that allows me to attach my hose to a spring-loaded, unthreaded faucet that would be very difficult to fill my jerry jugs from otherwise, and I would undoubtedly spill it. I'd have to hold the jerry jug up on the faucet, which is increasingly difficult as it gets full. So this allows me to have the jerry jug on the ground, have the hose go into it, avoid spillage, and work essentially with I can use one hand to hold the top of the sock around the faucet to prevent it from spraying out the top side, and I can use the other hand on the faucet itself to hold it against the spring tension to keep it open until the jerry jug is full. So this is a really good thing to have, Water Bandit. So what happens if you have a hand pump? Many of the places that we go to have hand pumps. So I've come up with a solution. I don't know of one that's commercially available. So there's one last thing that it's part of my water management system, and that is this. This is a folding hand truck, which I have strapped to my ladder on the side of my van. Oftentimes the easiest solution is to carry our empty jerry jugs to the water source, to the faucet or whatever it is, and then bring it back to the van, which is already set up in camping mode, level, seats turned around, window coverings on, all that, and transfer it from the jugs to the bulk tank. But I'm getting too old to be carrying 6-gallon jerry jugs for the distances that we often find ourselves faced with. So before our most recent trip, I bought one of these folding hand trucks from Harbor Freight. It cost me a grand total of $29.95, and it's not the ideal hand truck because in order to make it fold flat as it does, the center of gravity is not where I'd really like it to be, but it's much better than carrying a full jerry jug or 2 or 3 from the water source, which might be a tenth of a mile or more from our campsite back to the van. So instead I can take the empty jerry jug and my hand truck to the water source, fill the jerry jug, put the jerry jug on the hand truck, and then wheel it back to the van. And one last part of our water management system that I forgot about. I have an AirRaater that is both AirRaater and garden hose thread adapter. I got it at Home Depot, and I'll put a link to the one that I got down below. Of course, you have to have a faucet that's threaded for an AirRaater in order to be able to use it. But I use that to attach this hose, which also has a female garden hose thread at one end. See if I can do this one-handed. I can thread this onto my adapter and therefore onto my faucet. And then I can use that to fill our pure water filter, which I neglected to mention. This is a critical part of our water system. It needs to be maintained regularly, and it's a little low right now. It doesn't really need to be refilled right now, but there is a little bit of room in it. So I can use this setup, the hose attached to my faucet, to fill the upper reservoir of the pure filter. So this Cordura bag is also a gravity feed water reservoir. You can see there's a second hose that's hose clamped to the top of the faucet. That's to actually use the gravity feed system. There's a valve right there that I can use like a faucet to turn on the water. And it doesn't come out very forcefully, but it does give us both a backup system, 2.5 gallons, plus a silent system. There's no pump associated with this, so it's completely quiet. And this hose that I just demonstrated the pure water filter filling with, I actually put that together to maintain the gravity feed water bag. So I can connect it to the faucet just as I did to fill the pure water filter, and this particular reservoir, which is it's a solar shower setup. This one has a slide-on closure and a wide mouth, so I can slide off the closure and stick the dumb end of the hose into the water reservoir and attach the hose, the garden hose adapter to my faucet, and fill the gravity feed system through that hose. So it's a very adaptable system. We've got actually 3 different sources that we can pull from into the sink. We've got the gravity bag, we've got the 15-gallon tank, which is our main source, and with a little bit of fussing around, I can draw from the 6-gallon jerry jug underneath. And the main thing that I'm doing every day is emptying our 6-gallon gray water tank. 6 gallons is precisely what we use every day in the sink. We also use water for dishwashing, so we probably use a total of about 7 or 8 gallons every day. I hope you found this information to be interesting and valuable, and if you did, please be sure to hit the like button, and I'd really appreciate it if you subscribe to my channel for more videos like this one. If you have any comments or questions, please be sure to leave them below, and I'll do my best to answer them. I'll see you next time. Thanks. Bye.